Welcome to Apex Philosophy, the perfect place to find motivation. Be sure to subscribe and listen every day so you can become your best self. Please like and share the video to help inspire others. Dopamine and motivation. What is neuroscience? Neuroscience is an unfamiliar field to most people. They don't understand how complex the mind is and how powerful it is. It is only by studying the mind that we can unlock our true potential. We can break through boundaries we didn't think were possible. The way to succeed is rooted in science. We know we can be successful and make the most out of our life because science has proven that we can condition and motivate ourselves to be better. Today, we'll look at how we can motivate ourselves to achieve anything we want. And a neuroscientist has the hack to tell us how. Hard work is quite hard. Although it may sound obvious, not many people realise it. People don't like the idea of putting in a lot of time and a lot of effort to achieve something, to get success in the end. To push themselves through it, they have an end goal. They can justify going through grueling torture because the trophies, the grades, and the hot fudge sundaes at the end are worth it. This is not the best way to motivate yourself. There is a protocol by which you can achieve a better relationship between your activities and your dopamine system, and will actually tune up the dopamine system for discipline, hard work, and motivation. What is dopamine? Dopamine is an organic chemical in our brains that controls our happiness levels. It is the source of our motivation. As we said before, people do hard work to achieve an end goal. However, because of the way dopamine impacts our perception of time, working hard at something for the sake of a reward that comes at the end makes the work more challenging. It makes us much less likely to lean into hard work in the future. You have to frame the work in such a way that you get dopamine during the hard work, so you stay motivated until it's done. Children and drawings. There was a study conducted by Stanford University where they gathered children who enjoyed drawing and gave them a reward every time they drew. For every drawing, they got a gold star or some reward like that. After a while, they stopped giving out rewards for the drawings. This led to a decrease in motivation to draw. Now, these were children who loved drawing and willingly chose to be part of the experiment. They had been conditioned to look forward to getting to the end of the process to get the reward. They weren't focusing on enjoying the process. This is clearly a terrible way to motivate. By ignoring the process, you are ignoring large parts of your life. Hard work is about going through the process. We only have a limited time on this planet, and there is a countdown above everyone's heads. If you are only focused on the goal, then you will only have fleeting moments of enjoyment. The process takes up most of your time. So it is essential that you are enjoying it as best as you can. Intrinsic and extrinsic reinforcement. The idea of being less motivated when only focusing on the finish line links to the idea of intrinsic versus extrinsic reinforcement. When we get rewards for something, we tend to associate less pleasure with the actual activity that invoked us to get the reward in the first place. With this, the dopamine peak lowers the baseline of our dopamine release. This means we have moments of happiness, but after that, we suffer moments of great low and depression. Dopamine controls our perception of time, and how much we experience is how we carve our experience of time. When we do hard work for the sake of a reward, we are extending the field of analysing that experience and disconnecting the dopamine circuits. We end up finding the process less enjoyable because we are desperate to get to the end. We're spending too much time racing to get things done, and not enough time enjoying the process there. We are wasting the valuable time we have on this planet. The antithesis. This lack of motivation, this lack of enjoying the process, is the antithesis of progress and will hold you back. It prevents a growth mindset. Having a growth mindset is the most important factor in being successful and motivated. A growth mindset leads to better performance. It leads you to being more dedicated, and it leads you to being more consistent. All of these lead you to being successful. You need to fight against this antithesis. Fight against this enemy of progress. You need to cultivate a growth mindset. You cultivate a growth mindset by learning to access the rewards from effort and doing. You need to be enjoying and thriving off the process if you want a growth mindset. Cultivating a growth mindset is incredibly hard to do because you essentially have to trick your mind into believing that the process is great. Even if you don't want to do that schoolwork, go to the gym, or show up at your job, whatever it is, you need to tell yourself that this is the greatest thing ever and that you love it. Condition your mind to have a positive response to this hard work and you will surely grow. Dangers of dopamine rush. If you aren't motivated, and if you are just wishing for the end to arrive so you can say you have finished and get that dopamine rush, you are making the process painful. You are making the process slower so that it takes longer than it needs to. This is going to make you less productive. You are undermining your ability to fall back into the activity the next time you try to tackle it because you hate the process. A child who hates homework isn't going to be excited to do it. They are putting it off for as long as possible. They are going to complain the whole time, and the process will take longer because they are bored. That will be the same thing for you, even if you love the thing you do, because you have told yourself that you hate the process. And therefore, when it comes to you trying to do it next time, you need more caffeine before you start. There are more excuses, and you are taking longer to start. Make yourself fall in love with the process, and make yourself believe that it is the best thing for you, since it is more beneficial. It is a tremendous amplifier in all endeavours you engage with, especially the endeavours which are hard or unappealing. It is beneficial to condition yourself this way, because you avoid layering other sources of dopamine in order to get to the starting line. If you love that process, you don't need an energy drink or a coffee before starting, because you are ready to jump right in. Rather than subjectively attaching the feeling of friction and effort to an internally generated reward system. This system has existed in humans for hundreds of thousands of years. It dates back beyond our ancestors and into the most primitive forms of humans. It is the system by which you're not pursuing the things which are pleasurable. Things like food, warmth, sex, and water when you are thirsty. The beauty of this mesolimbic reward pathway is that it includes the forebrain. You have to tell yourself that the effort is the good part. All of that pain, all that grueling effort, and that is the part you need to tell your brain to be excited for. Find that reward in the process, and the dopamine will get released during the effort and not just at the end. It will do this if you continue to repeat it again and again. You are in control of the situation, and you have got to tell yourself that this is the fun part. Even if you are exhausted, in pain or stressed, you have to push through this and fall in love with the process. Love the process. When we focus on the trophy, or the grade, or the hot fudge sundae, whatever it is that motivates us, you undermine the entire process. As said before, time is a finite resource. If you spend 6 months doing a project with the only goal in mind to finish it, then you will look back after those 6 months and hate yourself for how miserable you were. When you are 80 years old and look back on your life, it will be filled with misery and regret. You will regret all that time you spent complaining and hating what you are doing. Your life will be a series of miserable spans of times, with fleeting dopamine rushes when you eventually succeed. This is not the way to live life. In the moments of the most intense friction, you need to tell yourself that you know the process is painful, but you value the pain. Because it is painful, it will invoke an increase in dopamine release later, meaning it will increase your baseline in dopamine. At that moment, you are making a conscientious choice to put yourself through this. You need to tell your brain that you are doing it because you love it. The pain and stress will motivate you. You love the exhaustion it brings. Make yourself love the pain, and you will love the process. This increases the amount of dopamine and stabilizes it so that you maintain a more balanced chemical balance. It sounds like you are lying to yourself, and in some ways it is. But it is lying to yourself to make you feel better. Because the alternative, where you are demotivated, miserable and depressed, is far worse than lying to yourself in this scenario. You want to feel better about the work you are putting in. You want it even to be pleasurable. This mindset is far away and different from thinking about the reward that comes at the end after you finish and cross the line. The treasure is at the end, but the hunt is the exciting part. The open secret. The beauty is, this dopamine isn't some sacred material. It isn't manufactured in a secret lab for the top 1% to steal. Everyone has dopamine. Everyone has the ability to change their perspective and way of thinking. There is a level playing field. For the most part, everyone can produce dopamine normally, and they can release it the same way. Therefore, the way to get ahead of everyone else around you is to take that dopamine and convert it into motivation to keep pushing you through. Use this motivation as fuel for your body. Use it and put yourself on the path to success. Throughout history, from the dawn of mankind to the present day, we have revered people who were willing to go out and forage and hunt and gather. The reward was food, but they had to focus on the process, otherwise they would return to their cave empty-handed. They needed that discipline to succeed, and although you are fortunate in the modern day to not have to hunt your food, you need that same discipline and motivation. If you treat things like a chore, they will start to feel like a chore. If you treat them like a passion, suddenly you become far more interested in what is going on. It is about changing the way that you think. You need to change the neurological pathways and the dopamine circuits inside your head, and condition them to appreciate and enjoy the grueling and often strenuous process that is required to succeed. Your mind is a brilliant thing. It is so vastly complicated and intricate and difficult to master. But once you understand how it works. And once you understand how to change the way to think, then you become unstoppable. Thank you for listening. Comment below, what can you do to start maximizing your use of dopamine? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.